At a friend's apartment, their dog reacted to me like we'd already met. I met Sarah through work about 6 months ago. We clicked immediately, started having lunch together every day, and eventually became close friends. Last week, she invited me over to her apartment for the first time. I was excited to finally see her place and meet her dog, Luna, that she talked about constantly. When I knocked on her door, I heard barking, but it wasn't the excited greeting bark you'd expect from a dog meeting someone new. It was desperate, almost frantic. Sarah opened the door laughing and said, "Sorry, Luna's being weird today. She's usually so calm." But the second I stepped inside, Luna went completely silent. She just stood there in the hallway staring at me. Not like a dog checking out a stranger, like a dog who'd been waiting for someone to come home. Then she walked straight up to me, pressed her head against my leg and started whimpering. Not scared whimpering, relieved whimpering. Sarah looked confused. "That's so strange. She never does this with new people. It usually takes her weeks to warm up to anyone." I knelt down to pet Luna and she immediately rolled onto her back, tail wagging so hard her whole body was moving. Then she did something that made my blood go cold. She lifted her right paw and held it up in the air. I used to have a dog named Bailey. She died 3 years ago from cancer. When Bailey wanted attention, she'd do this exact thing. Lift her right paw and hold it there until you took it, and shook it like a handshake. It was her signature move. I'd never seen another dog do it quite the same way. Without thinking, I took Luna's paw and shook it gently. Luna's tail went into overdrive. She jumped up, licked my face once, then ran to the corner of the living room and grabbed a specific toy. A blue rubber ball that was worn down on one side. Bailey's favorite toy had been a blue rubber ball. She'd carried it everywhere until one side was completely smooth from her constant chewing. Sarah was watching all of this with her mouth open. I've never seen her act like this. It's like she knows you. I didn't know what to say. I followed Luna into the living room and sat on the couch. Luna immediately jumped up next to me and put her head in my lap. Not beside my lap. In it. Bailey used to do the same thing every single night while I watched TV. Sarah sat down across from us. "Okay, seriously, what is happening right now? Have you two met before?" I shook my head, but I was starting to feel strange. Like the air in the room was too thick. Luna shifted position and I noticed something on her collar. A small metal tag with coordinates engraved on it. "What are those coordinates?" I asked. Sarah looked surprised. "I got her from a shelter about 3 years ago. Those coordinates were already on her collar when I adopted her. I kept meaning to look them up but never did. Do you want to check?" I pulled out my phone and typed them in. The pin dropped on a location about 2 hours away from the city. My hands started shaking. I zoomed in on the satellite view. It was my parents' old house. The house where I grew up. The house where Bailey lived her entire life until she got sick. The house we had to sell after she died because I couldn't afford to keep it on my own, and my parents had moved to Florida. "That's my old address," I whispered. Sarah's face went white. "That's impossible. Luna's microchip said she was a stray. The shelter found her wandering near some highway." I looked down at Luna. She was staring up at me with those same brown eyes. The same eyes that used to watch me get ready for work every morning. The same eyes that used to follow me from room to room because Bailey couldn't stand to be away from me. "When exactly did you adopt her?" I asked. Sarah pulled out her phone and checked her photos. May 14th, 2022. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Bailey died on May 10th, 2022. I'd had her cremated 2 days later. There was no way this could be the same dog. It was scientifically impossible. But Luna nudged my hand with her nose, the same way Bailey used to when she wanted me to keep petting her. Then she sighed this deep, content sigh and closed her eyes like she'd finally found what she'd been looking for. Sarah was crying now. "This is insane. This isn't possible." I kept petting Luna, feeling her heartbeat against my leg, and I didn't have an explanation. All I knew was that this dog, who was supposed to be a stranger, felt like coming home. I still go to Sarah's apartment 3 times a week to visit Luna. I can't explain what happened, and honestly, I've stopped trying. Some things you just have to accept.